listening experience. VoxWave.com.
Check out all your favorite shows at VoxWave.com. On Mondays, we keep it moving with The Kim Show from 11 to 1 p.m. Then it's time for a change with Sherry and Mignon, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then in the end, we win with Curtis, 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. On Tuesdays, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Start your afternoon with The Wealth Zone with Raymond Starks. Then it's Cooking with Flavors with Chef Flavors, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And treat yourself right with My Spa Bath and Body, hosted by Margaret Harris, 7 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Up next is Slick Daddy Rick, Heartbeat Congo Hour, rocking from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Then on Wednesdays, you can't miss Impact the World with Cheryl Woods, 12 noon to 2 p.m. And then from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., we got Slick Talk with Oscar D and It's the Kid. Then from 8 to 9 p.m., we crank it up with Live Set Wednesdays, hosted by Reg Gaskins. And after that, 9:15 to 10:15 p.m., the BGKH Show with Dominion and Epic. And check out our Thursday lineup, starting with You, Math, and Me, hosted by George Randall from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Then from 7 to 9 p.m., the 640 Evening Show with DJ 640. And on Fridays, we start out with Peace in the Morning Show with Darius A. Stanton, co-host Delicate Daryl Barnes, and Queen of Sudabed, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. From 10:30 to 11:30, the Hall Street Journal with Robert Hall and co-host Clarence Sanders. And after that, you know we gotta check in with Chanel's 3 Cents, 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Up next, from 3 to 4:30 p.m., Daryl Allen Hairston II Crime Victims Foundation Show with your host, Daryl Hairston. Then, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is The Rush Hour with DJ Drew and Janique. And from 9:15 to 11:15 p.m., you can't miss Different Mind Show with Bam 640 and DJ Andre Michael, co-host Hillary Banks. Then start out your Saturday mornings with the Healer Blues Show, hosted by Ron Jackson. After that, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., the Hour of Power with Reverend Winters Rogers. Then, from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, it's time for prayer, praise, and deliverance with Elder Thurman Gorman Jr. Four Sisters Live Talk, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. Then every second Saturday, listen to Turning Dreams into Reality Talk Show with Tashika L. Green, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. After that, from 3 to 4 p.m., we walk in newness 24/7 with Missionary Antoinette. And don't miss, from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., news, ULM News and Analysis, information, sports, Black history, with your host, news anchor Roderick Carter-Withers, 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Then, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., it's time for DJ Rick, the CEO of Step Your Game Up, the Youth Project, co-hosted by DJ Main and DJ Low Hefe. And then, at 7:45 to 8:45 p.m., it's time for the Fantastic Live Show with MC Fran. And starting out on Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., I am Dr. Sharon Show with Dr. Sharon. And every first Sunday, from 3 to 4 p.m., it's the Riri Williams Show, Fashion and Style Hour. And every third Sunday, check out the Teen Talk Show with Dr. Akita Pearson, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Then it's time for Real Talk 101, 6 to 8 p.m. And from 8:15 to 9:15 p.m., we're tuned into the Gospel Live TV show with Glory Mello. Stay tuned to Vox Wave, where you can find all your favorite shows.
The world's #1 streaming music station, VoxWave.com.
This is Darius, Stanton. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. Come on, man. Darius, Stanton.
We gonna give you something fun. So
That's right, it's the Peace in the Morning Show, baby. Good morning. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Darius, Stanton, live at VoxWaves.com. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. One more time it is. Funky Friday. Say what now? Say what now? Funky Friday. Funky Friday. Funky Friday. Funky Friday. Funky Friday. Funky Friday. Say what now? Funky Friday. Come on, y'all. Here we go. Here we go. Peace in the Morning Show. Time to go. Main man Rick in the studio. He's the DJ. Yes, he's the DJ now. Matter of fact, wait till he gets down. We got the queen on the scene and the delegate Chanel next to you. Know what I mean? Stephanie Mickle in the studio too. Look out, Stephanie, that should be her too. Delegate Barnes on the scene. What's up, brother? You know what I mean? And we got the baby girl in the house. Pierre, and she looking so swell. Yeah, and we doing it well. Oh, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Peace, peace, peace in the morning. 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 Come on, y'all. Do it, Funky Friday, baby. Talking about those graduations today. Oh yeah, take it to the next level, baby. And we got the 67 Mickle in the house. Talking about women getting involved in politics. How to take it to the next level. That's right. Here we go. Here we go. My main man coming to the studio. It's gonna be funky tonight, y'all. Matter of fact, funky today. Come on, y'all. Let's do it. Dig it. Come on, get up out your seat. Come on, get up out your pews. Come on, make it do what it do, baby. Do, baby. We got that big T.I. coming to town tomorrow, y'all. Angela Yee and the Breakfast Club. Yeah. That's Bowie State University Arts and Culture Fair. That's right. At the Performing Arts Center. Here we go now. Ready to break it all down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Darius Stanton saying, welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. Yeah. Break it on down. Hey, it's still car season too. Hey, all my fellow bulls out there. All my sister bulls, all my brother bulls, what's up? April 22nd right here. Come on, y'all. Time to work it. Time to work it. Come on. All right, y'all. We're going to come on back in a minute. And when we get back to you, we're coming live with the Peace in the Morning Show. Here we go. Funky Friday, baby. You know how we do. Bowie State University tomorrow morning. Peace in the morning.
This is Darius, stay stand. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. Baby, come on, man. Darius, stay stand. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. It's Funky Friday with a new logo. We're gonna give you some info so we can reach it in and out, in and out, in and out. Baby, come on, man.
Yeah, what is it? It's Funky Friday, baby. Welcome to the Peace in the Morning Show. This is Darius A. Stanton, live in the studio at www.voxwave.com. You can check us out also on Facebook at Darius, Mr. Peace and Love Stanton. Delegate Darrell Barnes is in the house. Delegate Diana Fennell is in the house. And the Queen, if you know what I mean. What's up, DB?
Queen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
No doubt about it. So listen.
We happy.
We are so excited about being here. As a matter of fact, there are graduations taking place all over the world. People coming out with their cap and gowns, mamas and daddies screaming, grandmama's so proud, tears coming down their eyes, money that they spent, cars being sold, all kinds of things happening. But we just want to celebrate those who have made actually the sacrifices. Because if you remember, not too long ago, we couldn't even go to school. As a matter of fact, we wouldn't even be able to read in America, which is so odd because, you know, when you think about it, it is African people who created the very first university.
That's right.
So, you know, how that thing flipped upside down, but look how things turned in just a short period of time. So I just ask you to stay focused, have a vision, do some research, execute, and then be diligent. Persevere, which means we're going to keep on working at it, keep on working at it. One of the words my mother taught me a very long time ago, I'm going to ask her to spell it for the Peace of the Morning Show, is stick-to-itiveness.
Oh, my God, yeah, right. That means keep going and don't give up.
That's right. Don't stop, take it to the top. So that's another word of my mom's. Mom, you just coming all out me all kinds of ways this morning.
Yeah, because you're just like me. I'm just like you, only you're better.
Oh, isn't that wonderful
You're
of you to
better
say,
'cause
Mom?
I'm later. You're better. You're better, and that's final, and don't push me. And
Don't
today is
push
basic.
me, because I'm close to the edge.
That's why I like
T.I.'s coming to Maryland, and he's going to rock it. That's right. T.I. is coming
He's so
tomorrow
beautiful.
morning.
I love his
T.I. is coming to town tomorrow
Let's
morning
give
to the
him a
Bowie
hug.
State University. That's right. They're giving hugs to T.I. to Bowie State University's Arts and Culture Fair.
Where Queen will be picking him up literally with her hands in the air,
Part of
and
it.
also putting him on her back and riding him around so they can see the Africanism real kind of life that we put our men on the back who we crazy about. T.I., I'm going to get you. I bet you're not going to show up when you find out how I'm going to get you. He's scared,
That's right. That's right. We're going to be in the Black Box Theater going live with T.I. And a whole lot of other folks that are doing some wonderful things. This Arts and Culture Fair that's happening at the Performing Arts, actually it's the Fine and Performing Arts Center at Bowie State University, a phenomenal facility. And we want you to come on out. General admission tickets are just $25. You can go to www.cover360.com. That's www.cover360, the number, xity.com. Get your tickets because they're going super fast. As a matter of fact, there may not be many left. But definitely come on out. We want to see you there. Delegate Barnes, the Performing Arts Center is a phenomenal place. Would you agree?
It's a beautiful place at Bowie State. You know, it's actually a new facility for them. So I'm excited about, you know, being able to showcase that facility. I'm excited about being able to showcase Bowie State as a whole, which is the first HBCU in the state of Maryland.
That's right.
You know, so it's a lot of history there. To be able to have T.I. fly in to be a part of our history, our culture here in the state of Maryland. I'm very excited about that. I can't wait to see the Queen carry him around on her back.
I'm going to do it.
You know,
you know me. Look, everybody
pick
knows
him up
I'm
with
a
her
person
hand.
my word.
You know, which I guess she's saying he's a little man, so I
I
you know,
carry you, Dolly Brown. That's my real trouble. Don't play with it.
Watch out now. We're going to have two pickups. That's right. And as a matter of fact, you know it's coming soon in the show, Holistic Sexual Healing and Family Lifestyle
Right, with
Queen.
sexercising.
Sexercise Exercises for Love. Also, VoxWave is now broadcasting live on YouTube. So you can go to VoxWave, that's VOXWAV, and you will be able to see us also live on YouTube this morning and every Friday morning on the Peace in the Morning Show. So check it out. We are in the midst of, here on the East Coast, a storm, a rainstorm. And it's been raining for the last 3 days consistently. In addition to the rain, though, you know, our goal is to promote asset-based
positive stories, things that are happening that are good in our community.
That's right.
But we also have to deal with, those things that are truly challenging us. And there was a very sad story yesterday, not any different, unfortunately, than every day in this region, or throughout the country for that matter, where a young man was shot and killed in the District of Columbia, not too far, a Blue High School student. So first and foremost, we just want to take a moment of silence and just keep in memory of the fact that our young people are passing and being killed by one another. Now, what do we do about that? First and foremost, I always say that it starts at home, because hurt people,
Yes.
and loved people love people. So as families, we just ask you to reach out to your family members. You know, do what you can to provide them with that love and support. And if you're living in a home where every other word is F-U-B, M-F-A, calling each other out of their names, calling children names that you wouldn't even call your dog, then you know that immediately something has to happen to change that. This does not have anything to do with how much money you make. It has very little to do with even where you live, but it has everything to do with how you were raised and how you decided you're going to raise your family.
And I just want to say, excuse me, in view of just what you said, if you're in a home where everyone's using profanity, then you know that you need to change. Not necessarily. Most often, families that use a lot of profanity in the home think that's perfectly right. And you better mind your mother effing business, because that is just what the F is going to be going on in that home. This is what they say every day when the children open the door. They ask you what the F you want. Who the F are you? My mother effing mother in the bathroom, mother effer. You understand? When you see this is a common verbal understanding among children. I have sat in homes, in white and black homes, where dinner was served, and they say that bee came up here the other day and she effed up everything. And the parents are right there and they're enjoying and participating in the conversation. So what is abnormal to some of us like me, I didn't grow up in a home with B's and MFs and all of that. Not even, my mother was shocked when we said the word in. She said, if somebody calls you an in word in school, and we had just transformed to Germantown, an all-white school. She said, you tell them your mother is one. I said, and then they're going to tell the tell the principal. She said, good, then I'll come there and tell him he's one too. If he allows that, because that word means an ignorant and uncouth person.
Right.
So I say all that to say it's the training in the home. Not just starting in the home, but the training in the home or not. That determines the outcome of our children. If the parents aren't trained, the children will not be unless they get some outside intervention.
I agree with you, Queen. Absolutely. You know, it starts at home. You know, they mimic. The children mimic what they see at home.
Exactly. Or in school, you have a beautiful home. I remember that. Young children at home, they don't know anything about calling names. They're studying. They know how to read, know how to play cards. All those things our parents taught them. They go to kindergarten or the babysitter. When they come back, up yours. F you. Stick out the tongue. I H-A-T you. Kiss my, suck my. All that comes from third-year-old, 3-year-old children, daycare. So these are the things we have to be aware of. These are the things we have to look out for in talking about what's going on in the home. We have to put something out that can get into the home that makes people reflect on themselves and their behavior to see that it's not all that cool.
Well, speaking of home, you know, there's a plate from a craft shop that I watched growing up in Annapolis, and it has a tree on it with branches, birds on the trees, on the branches, and then there are roots that you can see, and the rim of the plate reads, we leave our children with two things, roots for them to hold on to and wings for them to fly away. And so the question is, what type of roots are you creating and are you building for your children? Roots being what they learn. Roots being what are they praying to? Are they being spiritually led and fed?
Exactly.
Roots being what type of foods are you feeding them? Roots being what type of hospitality, care, emotional intelligence, how you treat people, manners. Those are the type of roots that help children prosper. Studious, research, homework, critical thinking, those are roots. So these are things that will allow our children to make conscious decisions for themselves and recognize when people have a certain energy, because that's really what we're talking about. The energy that you see here on the Peace in the Morning show comes from the fact that when I was growing up at my grandmother's house, at my mother's home, there was a lot of energy, there was a lot of love, there was a lot of praying, there was a lot of celebrating, there was tons of laughing. We were all over the floor laughing. We one of them families that laugh all outside, all through spitting water up, just crazy as all outdoors. That's the kind of energy that you want, and you might not be like our family, right, and have all of that, but the energy must be one that is positive. When you walk out that door, you feel good about yourself.
Exactly.
When you walk out that door, you want to help somebody.
I look at it both ways, right? I'm from Southeast Washington, D.C., then used to live in Compton.
Okay.
Right? So I look at it, where families, when I was growing up, there was a lack of hope, right? And then we're a product of our environment, right? All this stuff we're saying, I think, makes a ton of sense. But when you're in an environment in Southeast Washington, D.C., when I was growing up, our house got broken in 3 times, twice when we were at home. This is how bad these jokers were. So I don't think no family wants to use profanity. I don't think no family wants to not take care of their children. I don't think no family wants to not give their kids all that they can. I think there's a lack of hope and there's a lack of opportunities. And when we suck into our environment, right? That's why the drug boys became drug boys, because that's what they saw, right? And they saw the way that they can make money, which the parents had lack of hope and opportunity in themselves. They couldn't find a job. They were stuck in a rut. They were getting evicted and all of those things.
They didn't have good choices.
They didn't have proper choices, and there were really no other positive role models or figures in their life. So that's what they became.
Right. I mean, just to eat, they had to steal money out of drug dealers' pockets that was sleeping with them others.
Absolutely. So what happened to me was, my family, we bounced around from house to house until, I always tell the story. My father one day got a good job, and we moved to Prince George's County.
He got a good opportunity.
So we felt like we were like the Jeffersons. We were moving on up. Right? But I was still a product of my environment for a long time until, I started meeting the right kind of individuals that kind of changed my perception on life and who I am as a man. Right? So I think, we as elected officials, role models, personalities, we have to do a better job of trying to reach out to those that are in need.
Exactly.
Right? It's one thing to sell the rhetoric to say, hey, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. But I believe it's our jobs to actually go into those communities where these young people and parents can see positiveness.
Exactly.
Right? Where they can hear, the stories, because if I could do it, then somebody else could do it.
I wanted to speak to that exact point, and I think you're exactly right with regard to going to those communities. I want to shout out a brother and some brothers, almost 50 brothers this past week from the Nation of Islam in Baltimore. Our brother Andrew Muhammad, they took about 45, 50 brothers out into the community directly what you're talking about, and help to feed the folks, work with the young brothers that were on the corner on how to get their records expunged, just relationships. What can we do to help?
Yeah.
Not pointing the finger, not saying you got to come up.
Exactly.
Just how can I help you?
What I work with men ain't me higher.
Exactly.
These kids telling me, Delegate Barnes, I don't want to be the stick-up kid anymore.
Right.
I don't want to do disruptive things. I need a job.
Right.
Right? I need something to do. Right? So if we're actually trying to help, then we have to provide avenues for them to be able to succeed. it's one thing to say, boy, you better pull up your pants and you need to find a job and you need to do all this stuff.
Right.
But if we're not actually giving them the avenue to be successful, then we're also part of the problem, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Right? Because I truly believe that these kids, yeah, you're going to have some that's going, buck the system and some that's going, want to give pushback. But I truly believe there's going to be one or two in that crowd that's going to then pull you to the side and say, man, what can I do?
A whole bunch.
Or how can you help me? So I believe that, it takes strong brothers and sisters like us to say, you know what? Let's reach out and start building these collaboratives. Let's really reach out and start figuring out ways that we can help each other. Let's start talking to different businesses and organizations that say, let's give these young people an opportunity that they would not ordinarily have. To me, that's what this is all about. Let's reach out to the lawyers and the Lawyers Association and figure out really true ways in which we can look at expungement of their records.
Well,
right?
one of the things, you spoke to something very powerful, which is reaching out to folks. And, we've been reaching out to folks recently to create a statewide reading financial literacy initiative, and credit to, Delegate Barnes and the Black Caucus, Delegate Fennell and others who are working towards making sure that we first and foremost have the basic, as we talked about in the beginning of the show, of how to read, so that when you able to see and read, you can explore. Your mind can take you beyond the pictures, but can actually help you visit and see other places. Because in order for us to be something different, we have to see something different.
Exactly.
And so we definitely are excited about that. You can stay tuned because we will continue to push the envelope as that applies. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to make some shifts because we got Stephanie Mickle in the studio.
Right.
We got Holistic Sexual Healing and Family Lifestyles.
Oh, my favorite
We
topic.
have the international group Ocean that's traveling right now, performing in Germany. And they're going to be calling us soon. And we're going to talk about T.I., Angela Yee, Turbo, the master producer from down in this ATL, and also Bryce, the young rapper coming up. Brothers coming in town really to do some powerful things with the Improvement Tour right here on the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius Stanton. We got DJ Rick in the house on the 1 and 2. DJ Rick ready to go to work, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the Peace in the Morning Show, our brother, your brother, DJ Rick. Take it away, baby.
Diamond in the back, a sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. Subtle thoughts. We talk about the gangster lean now. With the diamond in the back, Look here, check it out now. DC, we be chillin' with the gangster link. Philly, they chillin' with the gangster link. New York, chillin' with the gangster link. Atlanta, chillin' with the gangster link. Maryland, chillin' with the gangster link. Carolinas, chillin' with the gangster link. Richmond, chillin' with the gangster link. You may not drive a great big Cadillac. White wall, TV antennas in the back. You may not have a car at all, but remember, brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just be thankful for what you've got. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean. Diamond in the back, the sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangster lean.
The Improvement Tour. Come on, DJ, get it. DJ Rick in the studio. What's up, DJ Rick in the studio, baby, on the ones and twos. That's right, it's the Piece of the Morning Show DJ Rick, baby. That's right, coming up on 1 year. The Piece of the Morning Show, 365 days, baby. Anniversary time. It's time to shine. Hey, lady, what's up? Happy Mother's Day still? Come on.
Shake your hips to the left and to the right, right, right. Shake your hips to the left and to the right, right, right. Shake your hips to the left and to the right, right, right. Shake your hips to the left.
Every Friday, baby. That's how we do on the Piece of the Morning Show. Come on. DJ Rick in the studio, baby. Shout out to President Pro, Dr. Pro of Bowie State University. You hear her live tomorrow morning. Come on.
Terry, hey Terry, yo, you know we got the. Come on. Hey, town crew.
Hey, Angela Yee, Jeremy Newkirk, what's up, brother? I know you out there working, putting it together. Shout out to Jeremy Newkirk. DC Nightlife, big festival coming up July 21st at the Fairgrounds in Annapolis, Maryland. Following that, the following week, the Annapolis Local Organizing Committee will be holding their Family and Friends Unity Day, July 28th. Come on.
What y'all say? What y'all say?
Focus Friday.
Yo, you know we got the.
Hey, I'm grooving, but we got to move because I got Stephanie Mickle in the studio and it's time to let her ride. I'm gonna let DJ rock.
This is for my ladies.
Jamming this morning, y'all love it. DJ Rick, baby, y'all better share this. Y'all better push it because we on YouTube, we on Boxwave, we on Facebook, and we on you this morning on the Piece of the Morning Show. We come back. Stephanie Mickle, DJ Rick, take it away, baby.
Cause I got what she never had. My fatty, it's my fatty. Look at my fatty, it's my fatty. Look at my fatty, it's my fatty. Look at my fatty, it's my fatty. Dancing in the middle, bend it over, make it jiggle, not too much, just a little, make it toot like a whistle. So cute, so fly, like to work it from behind. Have them asking how she do it, I just simply tell them why. My fatty, it's my fatty. Look at my fatty, it's my fatty. Look at my fatty, it's my fatty. Look at my fatty, it's my fatty. Mr. DJ, turn it up every time we play the song. CCB, that's my bitch.
On the north side crew, party with my stars. Come on, Ado. We gon' get right into it solo. Well, everybody, here we go. Well, to the left. I'll take it back now, y'all. A one hop this time. A one hop this time. A right foot, let's stomp. A left foot, let's stomp. A cha-cha now, y'all. Well, everybody, let's go to work. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. Two hops this time. Two hops this time. Right foot, two stomp.
From behind that cubicle,
Left
get busy,
foot,
baby.
two
Tell you people that I'm watching the Piece of the Morning Show. It's Funky Friday. What's up, Councilman Sharika? Thank you so much for supporting us here on the Piece in the Morning Show. This is Darius A. Stanton, live right here at www.voxwave.com. Catch us on YouTube, catch us on Facebook, and catch us moving you this morning. And I am so fortunate, we are so fortunate to have in the studio with us this morning Miss Stephanie Mickle. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, that's correct. Thank
Excellent.
you.
I'm so glad. Mom, look at this lovely young lady that's coming here to talk to us this morning.
I'm so happy to meet you, Stephanie.
Nice to meet you.
You have
as
a gorgeous
well.
smile.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm excited to know what it is that you bring to everyone. We're paying attention to you this morning.
Absolutely.
So, Stephanie, you are originally from Florida, correct?
I am. Born and raised in Gainesville, Florida, home of the Florida Gators.
I know that's right. Shout out to our good brother and business partner, Herbert Murphy. His daughter, Lydia, is graduating this morning as we speak.
walking across the stage. So
yeah.
hooray to the Murphy family.
That's beautiful.
Congratulations. No doubt about it. So, Stephanie, you came here to Maryland, and you and your family have started a business, amongst other things. So you're a lawyer as well?
Yes, yes. So I moved here to the Washington, D.C. area about 10 years ago.
Okay.
To come, like most people, following a dream, to work in politics. I got a job on Capitol Hill, and did that for a number of years during the Obama administration, and decided after a number of years to go out and work for myself. So I'm a licensed attorney, licensed here to practice in D.C., and but I really wanted to have my own business. And so I started a business, a public affairs agency. And for those who don't know, public affairs is the business of politics. So it involves communications, writing speeches, teaching people how to be effective in terms of getting their platform out, their messaging out. It involves fundraising and helping people to raise money for their campaigns or for an issue that they support. So it's the business side of politics. It's not all kissing babies and shaking hands. It's the business side of it that I do now.
And you do it for a number of female clients in particular, but throughout the region, and you're actually working right now. You'll be releasing a book that is really going to push this. Right now, there are more women in candidacy, meaning that are running for office, elected office, than ever before in the history of the United States government. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. And it's so important. I think a lot of times women have been not as involved in politics as they can be, but, you know, because of a lot of the conversations that are going on with the Me Too movement and with women recognizing that, you know, we don't have equal pay for equal work still today, even though there was a law passed in 1960s. You know, there's a lot of reasons why women are saying, you know what, now I want to get involved. And I think that's a great thing. As someone who's worked in politics for over 20 years, I can tell you there have been more times than not that I've been the only woman in the room, certainly the only black woman in the room. And, you know, it's just really good to see that more women are stepping up to the plate and saying, I want to get involved. And for me, getting into my book, what my book talks about is no matter what you want to do, you don't have to run for office. That's not everybody's lane. But you can do something. You can write a letter. You can write a check. You can take the time to call your representative. You can take the time to learn about what's going on in your city council. But you can do something. And that's important, not just because as we're American citizens, but it's also important for women because we as women bring a different perspective to the conversation. We are mothers. We are wives. We have, you know, a perspective on health care, a perspective on daycare, a perspective on our family's finances that complements the conversation. It doesn't replace the conversation, but it complements the conversation in a way that I think really leads to better legislative outcomes, better policy outcomes. Let me give you an example. When healthcare, the Obamacare was being debated on Capitol Hill, there were a lot of people who felt like, why do we need to pay for birth control? I mean, there's flat out people that still today don't understand why we need to pay for birth control or why do we need to pay for a mammogram. But as women, we know that those are two very important aspects of a family's health care, but it's also a very important aspect of family's finances. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't get mammograms on a regular basis. Let's say your insurance company doesn't pay for your mammograms. Then what happens? You know, something develops, and now you have not only a health problem, you have a financial problem in your household. And so, you know, so having women as part of those conversations, having women write letters about the things that are important to them, having women write checks to candidates who agree with them, who say, you know what, I do think that it's important for us to have these things. It's just super important to the whole picture of having better policy outcomes. And so, yes, that's what my book, Follow the Leader, is about.
Well, you know, the world view from what transpired in the 2017 March, that was the largest demonstration ever in the history of the United States, led by women, and it was done in 90 days.
Yes.
And the results, so, you know, when you talk about marches, and you know, marches that turned into movements.
Yes.
People often want to march and demonstrate, but the question is, what is the movement, and what action items are going to create marked change?
Right.
One of the examples I use is coming right out of the gate. The Me Too movement started to evolve, and women were finally being able to address without being ostracized and completely lose their careers and their jobs, to speak out against men who were abusing them one form or another. And, you know, at Fox News, you know, you had Bill O'Reilly, and it was the Me Too movement, and the women coming out of that march, they said, we're not just going to march and demonstrate, but we're going to, as we say here on the Peace in the Morning show, hashtag
hold your dollars.
Hashtag hold your dollars. And so Mercedes-Benz and a number of other companies started getting phone calls and letters saying, if you continue to support Bill O'Reilly's show, we're going to stop supporting you. And all of those companies, one after another, after 50, 60, 75 different companies and more, started to pull their advertising from Fox, which changed the dynamic.
Absolutely.
And so it's movements that we need to see, things that are going to change the way people move. But do something is basically what I'm hearing you say. And I know, Mom, you're working with women from around the world as well, involved with a number of organizations, in particular women of African descent, that are focused on empowering women who also are dealing in countries throughout the world. And they're business owners, construction, that oil, politics.
Every aspect of work and politics, these women are involved in on every level. And when I listen to you talk about your book, the issues, when we talk about we can do something, what I feel we should be doing, what we can do more of, is every time there's a hearing in our neighborhood about a new liquor store coming up and they want people to come to the hearing to say yay or nay, why don't we show up?
Exactly.
And when we have these huge women's organizations, because I critiqued the Women's March. I wasn't the normal, okay, this is the greatest thing I ever saw person. I saw issues being pushed that would never get pushed if they didn't need black people's support. Point intended. Our children, our parents, our brothers, sisters, relatives are being slaughtered in the streets. Not only by us with black-on-black crime, but by the police, law enforcement. We had an opportunity as women to stand up against that type of violence and abuse in the legal system, in the justice system, but we did not. Women came out for gay rights. Gay rights overshadowed our civil rights, our human rights. So gay rights became the new agenda for the Women's March in so many ways. Yes, then the Indians got a chance to say they're taking the oil, they're bringing pipes in for Canada. This oil's not coming to us. We're not going to be using this oil. We're going to be getting the brunt of the pollution that comes from this oil. Our babies are going to die because of this oil pipe. But we're not going to use that water. We got that agenda out in the Women's March. But that was an agenda like Flint, that women today, I just feel like we march and we stop much of what you say. Where's the movement? Because Flint has no pure water today, and women can stop that. Hashtag hold your dollars. Why don't we stop shopping at all the places? And I'm very serious about this. Use the agenda to hold your dollars. Look what Wakanda did. In Saudi Arabia, the first time in 35 years, they opened a motion picture theater and women could attend so that people could see Black Panther. We can gross billions of dollars. Let's start holding $50 million a week from the total industry. That includes sports. That includes everything, because if we do this, we wouldn't have to worry about, are our children going to be safe in school? Oh, our money is going to make them safe, because they're going to start doing everything humanly possible to secure our children, not in school alone, on the playground, at the mall, at the bank, in the supermarket. Why? Because we're holding our dollars.
Are we so greedy for every name brand, for every new idea that comes out with somebody else's name on it, that we have to shop and wear that? Women are the focal point right now throughout the world. We can put a stop to everything that is hurting us as human beings, as family, and nature. You have that kind of power. All of us have that kind of power.
So I would just like to say that, make a couple of comments about what you shared. The first is this. The beautiful thing about the United States of America is that you have the right to advocate for whatever matters to you. And so when we as women, when we as American citizens first decide that we want to advocate for the Dakota Pipeline, which is what you're referring to, we want to advocate for LGBT rights, that's absolutely fine. There's enough problems in this country that everybody can advocate for something. And I don't necessarily think that any particular, the advocacy of one issue precludes the advocacy of another. Somebody once told me, and I really firmly believe this, that nobody can take your seat if you are sitting in your seat. And so, for mothers and for women who say, it's really important to me to deal with police brutality, it's really important for me to deal with the issues that I see going on in my community, to the extent that I'm going to get up and do something about it, and I'm going to be at the table and I'm going to advocate, then that's how you are able to move the ball forward. But don't expect somebody else to advocate for your issues if you're not willing to do it yourself. That, to me, the personal accountability that comes with that is super important. And we saw that with Rosa Parks, in the civil rights movement. She used to work in the office, and one day she decided, I'm going to sit down on the bus. And then now we have a civil rights movement that's charged because of it. We saw it with Mothers Against Drunk Driving. A woman's daughter was killed. And so she decided to launch a movement of mothers. A lot of mothers are very powerful. We, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And so, we as moms and wives and daughters have a responsibility to say, you know what, I'm going to do something. And again, I think that's what's important. And you see that with women in communities around the world. Communities are structured in different ways. Some of them are very patriarchal societies where women don't have the right to even speak up, much less do anything else. But if you want to find a way to get something done, we as women know we can find a way to get it done if we want to.
That's right. And especially, I think that one of the key components is being able to be consistent. Because regardless of the issue and the matter, there are folks who are very intentional about continuing to create a pipeline for prison, a pipeline for dollars being funneled to causes that they believe in, companies that they believe in. And so we have to be consistent, just as consistent and even more in making sure that we want to see these changes take place in our communities. And the enough is enough. I'm tired. You continue to see these things. But as I said in the very beginning of the show, what marked change is taking place. And I referenced the movement and the march because marked change, if you look at the opportunities that are now being presented and people that are now coming down as a result of people finally standing up and having the confidence. So there's the consistency, but then the other part of it is truly the camaraderie, because it's lonely when you go out there, when you take that stand. But when people stand with you, it helps your energy, it helps your family, it helps people in your own household feel better about what you're doing because other people are standing with you, because other people, people in your household are looking at you like you are crazy. I can't believe you out there, you taking this, you're risking our family, we're being attacked, you're talking about us, I can't go to the store, I can't go anywhere. And so consistency and camaraderie are two of the things that I want to put out there that will help us really move our agenda forward as it applies to all the issues that we talk about, in particular in and around human rights. So as we make this shift to holistic sexual healing and family lifestyle, Stephanie, thank you so much for the work you're doing, for pushing women to be empowered to get involved in not only politics, but taking a stand
Yes.
And moving to the next level. When does your book come out? And tell us, give us some framework about the title and in that direction.
Great, absolutely. So first, thank you so much for having me on the
No
show.
question.
I really enjoyed the conversation this morning. I appreciate it. The name of the book is Follow the Leader. It's coming out this summer, early July. You can get it on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And would love to talk more about the book. Also, in terms of, can I share my social media?
Sure.
Fantastic. So there's lots of ways to keep in touch with me, find out what's going on with the book. There's a Follow the Leader book Facebook page, which is the first way you can do it, and also Instagram. There, I have my own Stephanie Mickle Twitter, Stephanie Mickle website, StephanieMickle.com. My company is Mickle Public Affairs Agency.
Can you spell that? Excuse me, can you spell
Yes.
Mickle
Yes.
so they can
Yes.
be sure?
Thank you. Thank you. No, I get my last name misspelled a lot, so thank you
Right.
for asking me about that. My name is Stephanie, Stephanie, M as in Mary, Ickle, Stephanie Mickle. And so all of my social media handles are Stephanie Mickle. Very
Beautiful.
simple. And then my company is Mickle Public Affairs.
Beautiful. I would just ask the universe to continue to bless you,
Oh, thank
to
you.
encourage you and inspire you to do what you're doing, and for more women to see how entrepreneurship is powerful. It is steady once, like the young lady said, you're consistent and you're pushing what you believe in. Much like Darius said, if you're consistent and you continue along the lines of what you have faith in, to encourage yourself and motivate others by doing, I think you're going to go far with this. All the
No
best.
doubt about it. So, it's rounding about that time where you're going to look behind you, look to side, look from the rear, and you will see it before you know it. It's Funky Friday, baby, and we are pumping it live right here on the Peace in the Morning Show with Darius Stanton at VoxWave.com. That's right. You know it's time for holistic sexual healing and family lifestyle, sexercises, exercises for love. All right, DJ Rick's in the studio with us for the very first time, and he is bumping and grinding, baby. Ladies and gentlemen.
Bump it up.
He's going to tear it up.
Bump it
behind
up.
you. Right there.
Hey, Ray. Yeah! Come on! Come on! Come on!
I gave you all the love I got. I gave you more than I could give. Gave you love. I gave you all that I had inside, and you took my love. You took my love. Didn't I tell you what I believe? Somebody say that a love like that won't last. Didn't I give you all that I got to give, baby? This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love. This is no ordinary love, no ordinary
Rock your body because I know that you got 'em. Can't do without 'em, don't tell me you forgot 'em. You got to do, that's what it do. You keep me shook, now you got me hooked. You never get it, get it, get it. If it gets a negative, we won't let it. Now everybody come along and kick it with me. I'm just a little brother from DC. With every different beat, I got a freaky deep style. Being fine, wanna make y'all smile. Peace, love, and soul in the front and behind me. Look at it in the pocket for the lady shaking her honey. Like it, I love it, want some more.
That's right. That was DJ Rick right here on the Peace in the Morning Show, Funky Friday. Let's give it up for DJ Rick in the studio, baby. Thank our good brother for coming out this year, working with us. We've been working to get him all year long, and the brother finally able to come off the road and get into the studio on the Peace in the Morning Show. So we want to thank you again. If you all did not get a chance to catch Miss Stephanie Mickle talk about her work in public affairs and her company, Mickle and Associates.
Mickle Public Affairs.
Mickle Public Affairs, and also her upcoming book, Follow the Leader.
Yes, Follow the Leader.
Follow the Leader, that's right. And you can reach Miss Mickle. How can they contact you?
Social media, Stephanie Mickle, STEPHANIEMICKLE, Emerson Mary. That's the best way to reach me. You can find me on Facebook. The book is Follow the Leader Facebook page, and we'd love to hear from you.
There you go. And it's that time, ladies and gentlemen, you've all been waiting for, who love to hear from the Queen, drop information, push it up in the air, and get you where you need to be. Holistic sexual healing and family lifestyles. Exercises for love.
And that reminds me, welcome, peace and love. This is Queen Aya Sudabet introducing you to Holistic Sexual Healing and Family Lifestyles. Living proof, family works. Sexercise is exercises for love. Not necessarily sex, but a way to communicate without physical attachment. This is very important today. We're talking about astrological signs, which some people say are taboo, which cannot be possible because you're born on a certain day in a certain month of the year. So that's astrological, whether you like it or not. And I want to talk about that. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Sagittarian, Aquarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then there's Pisces. These
Did you mention Taurus? I didn't hear Taurus.
Yes, I said Taurus.
Oh,
Aries, Taurus.
Oh, Aries, Taurus. Okay.
Now, these areas of astrology all govern certain parts of the human body structure. So each part that is governed by that astrological sign is also strengthened or weakened by the person's behavior. Okay, Aries. Aries controls the head, the face, the cerebral gland, the eyes, the nose, and the pituitary gland. I repeat, this is very, very important. Aries, major parts that are affected by your astrological sign are your head, your face, cerebrum gland, eyes, nose, and pituitary. Next week, I will talk about the things that you need to do to build those parts of the body up. Exercise for the face. Or if you're a woman who wears a lot of makeup, you are straining your face. Eventually, the makeup is going to pull your skin down. If you wear a lot of lipstick, every day you wear lipstick, you can check it out on Google. This information that I'm giving you is already written, has been researched by a number of organizations, businesses, companies, pharmaceutical, medical, and holistic doctors, that makeup is heavy, puts holes in the skin, weighs the skin down. Lipstick, women eat at least 9 pounds of lipstick a year, and lipstick is normally made from pork products.
9 pounds?
9 pounds, and or the placenta of the dead baby, which is what is used to make the lipstick stay together, like coagulate, and stay on your mouth. So every time you're eating it, when you're talking, it's going into your mouth. So these are very important things that have to do with your insides, okay? Your bladder, your sex organs, the small and large intestine, your rectum, your appendix, all have to do with what you consume. And they are affected by that. So the less makeup you wear, the lighter your face, the lighter your skin, and the more up it is. That's why they say when you have plastic surgery, you're getting a facelift. Why do you have to lift the face up? Because the makeup took the face down. Okay. Very important to smile, these parts of your body. Taurus. Taurus controls the neck, the throat, the cerebellum, the mouth, the tonsils, the vocal cords, thyroid. What is that? Say it again. Taurus controls the thyroid, the vocal cords, tonsils, the mouth, and the tonsils are directly related to birth. Believe it or not, it's called the super black baby when women have their baby with tonsils. A lot of people were forced to get their tonsils out, especially us black people, at an early age, so that we would not have the super black baby. So in rounding this up, I want to just say next week I'm also going to talk about the zodiac signs and how they affect you, where your heat comes from, where your energy comes from, what makes the best love, what makes the worst love, what is it that you should expect in any love relationship, physical or otherwise, and what you should never accept in a physical or otherwise relationship. So stick to it. Learn about your sign, whatever you are. I'm a Leo. I have 5 fire signs in Leo. Means I've got a lot of energy. How about you? Peace and love. This is Holistic Sexual Healing and Family Lifestyles. Living proof. Actually, family works. Sexercising.
Exercising for love. And so you know those 5 fire signs and those Leos. So if you know any Leos in your family that are all pumped up and ready to go.
Pumped up and ready to go.
Win, win, win.
Peace and love.
I have one in mind, and you know that's right, as well as our brother Messiah. Stephanie Mickle, thanks so much for being on the Peace of the Morning show. We appreciate you. Want to thank DJ Rick. DJ Rick, hey, how can they reach you, DJ Rick?
Thomas Johnson, DJ Rick, DJ RIC. You can hit me on Instagram, DJ Rick 4321.
There it is. We want to give it out because our brother is on point. There you go. Thank you for our engineer Ron in the studio and our lovely Jayla Kier, music director. Here we go. We out. Ladies and gentlemen, Funky Friday. See you tomorrow at Bowie State University. Come to the show. $25 general admission. Go to www.cover360.com and you get a chance to see T.I., Angela Yee, Turbo, Bryce, all the young brothers from ATL that are doing big things and working in the community right there on the Peace in the Morning show at Bowie State University, Arts and Culture Fair. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next Friday. Peace.
Peace in the morning.
In the morning.